Christopher Labos for more. He's an epidemiologist and cardiologist in Montreal. Let me get your reaction to Montreal opening up. And it just sounds so foreign for us to say indoor dining. What's your thought?
It certainly does. It is somewhat shocking that we've gotten to that point. I mean, the reason why this is happening is that the daily case counts are down, the vaccination rates are up, so everything is going in the right direction. That being said, a little bit of caution is still justified. While the cases are low, they are obviously not at zero. And so there is still COVID circulating in the community. But the risk of you catching COVID from someone else is obviously much, much lower, which is why the government is loosening these restrictions. The key going forward is going to be, can the government monitor the situation and realize that if things start to turn in the other direction, can some of these restrictions be clawed back a little bit? Because don't forget, last summer of 2020, things were relatively good across this country. And it was in the fall when cases started to go up again. So we're going to have to be a little bit careful come the fall. Could the situation start to worsen? The big wild card being the new variant, specifically the Delta variants. Those could potentially cause a surge of cases if we're not careful.
And when we talk about the Delta variant, I mean, you referenced last summer, and of course we didn't know about the Delta variant last summer. A lot has changed clearly because of the vaccination rollout, and the more we're learning about the Delta, how much of the reason for shortening the doses, the interval for people who got AstraZeneca, because that decision was made in a number of jurisdictions, to 8 weeks. How much of that is because of Delta?
Probably a lot of it. I mean, a lot of it, too, is due to the fact that the vaccine supply is no longer as stretched thin as it was even just a few months ago. So the original reason why the doses were extended as far as they were was because of inadequate supply, and the government was trying to give as many people one dose as possible to at least give them some degree of protection. Now that supply is no longer an issue, you're seeing a bit of catch-up happening to make sure everybody gets their second dose. But the Delta variant just underscores how important that is, because when you look at some of the studies that have been done around the world, the degree of protection that you get with 2 doses is quite high. We're talking close to 90% protection with 2 doses, but far, far less protection with just a single dose, ranging between 30 and 50% protection. So while 1 dose obviously gives you some degree of protection, you really do need those 2 doses. And if the Delta variant becomes the dominant strain, which it looks like it probably will be, at least in Ontario, Quebec still has relatively low numbers of the Delta variant, which probably explains why it's doing as well as it is. But if the Delta variant becomes the dominant strain, you're obviously going to want people to have both their doses to minimize new cases. So clearly that's going to have to become a priority going forward.
We're also hearing a little bit about Novavax today, Dr. Labos, and is saying it's with their studies that they've done, that it's 90% effective against COVID-19 and against some of the variants. We've got a lot of vaccines coming in, so I wanted to get your reaction to the Novavax study and whether or not it could be a game changer for the developing countries.
Right. So it's probably not going to matter much in Canada, where at this point, it looks as if we have more than adequate supply to vaccinate our entire population. But we can't forget there's a whole world out there. And many of the people in that world do not have access to vaccines in the same way that we do. And so we're going to have to think of COVID not just as a local problem, but as a global problem, because if we do not vaccinate the rest of the world, there will continue to be COVID. There will be outbreaks in other countries, and new variants are going to emerge from these hotspots. It is not an accident that the major variants emerged from places like the UK, South Africa, Brazil, and India, where there was a lot of COVID going on at the time, because the more you allow the virus to replicate, the more likely it is to mutate and cause a new variant. So if we want to limit the development and the spread of new variants, if we don't want to see an epsilon variant, we have to vaccinate the whole planet, even the people who don't have access to vaccines. And so the more companies that you have making doses, the easier that is going to be. And so the arrival of Novavax is just going to make that global vaccination strategy just a little bit easier.
Yeah, and easier on another front too. I gather it just needs standardized refrigeration, which kind of helps out as well. Dr. Labos, thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure. Take care.